to do like that? Well, 8 minutes, well, more or less. Now I think it's on. So we have this very dynamic Facebook-ish apps. But then we could have, let's say, if we look at the GitHub application, the GitHub website, it has some dynamic stuff, but mainly generated through static pages, PHP pages, not PHP pages, but HTML pages. And then they have some dynamic things. You can change the label of your project without needing to reload the page. We could add issues, and it will still work despite I don't need page reload. So there are some dynamic pages in the backend there, like we say, fetch, JavaScript fetch, doing client side. So it's not completely a Spark client, it's a mixed between more static pages and JavaScript dynamic requests to get a more live updated user interface without classic page reloads. So it's a mix. And when we are if we are going to do a client-side application, we should also, okay, yeah, I can do it very much client-side, but still, when I get the content, I can decide, should I render the content on the server side or should I render it on the client side? So that would be two different. And doing a fetch on the client side, requesting a JSON object, getting it to the browser, and then rendering the whole table from it. So that will be client-side rendering of the page. But I could also do the more or less the same request to REST API, and I allow the REST API to pre-render the HTML table. It's faster, it can cache it, and perhaps I just send it back as part of the JSON response. So then I don't need to have some much intelligence on the client side. I just take the completely rendered view and update my Doom tree. So I can have server-side rendered views, templates. Can have client-side rendered templates.
There's a security issue as well there.
So many things to decide.
Just when you're talking about this happened last year.
Yeah.
Where was an API who returned all values in the tree, but the user was not allowed to see like half of it because it was security. So you used the client side to filter it out. But if you went into the debugger, you could see it.
Yeah.
And this was government data. So it was a huge thing in Stockholm last year.
Yeah. We're going to look at, well, we have one session for security later on. Yeah. Like, it's hard being a developer. Having so many, but we actually have so many things to consider security-wise. And then they want us to do it fast also. So it must be performance-wise everything with us. Okay. Yeah, we know what the REST API looks like. We can do authentication through it. Yeah, we leave that. And let's see. Yes, we're going to go there. We're going to go back to the state of JavaScript. We saw it. Maybe it was the first session we had it. So we're going to go through it and use that. But before we go into that, let's try what will we see in this? What are the major players in JavaScript? How should we sort of review or organize, categorize the whole sort of market of JavaScript? So let's do it like this. We will have JavaScript flavors. That is different ways of how to write JavaScript programming language. So we need to decide on that. We need to decide on a backend framework. And if we're going to have template language, we need to decide on that also. We need to decide on a front-end framework, how to deal with dynamic pages on the front end and how to deliver the pages to the browsers, what type of graphical user interface we would like to have. And we need to decide on more. Perhaps we need a data layer. Data layer on the client side. And what type of data layer? Do we actually need a data layer? What are the data layers that are used to keep application state on the client side and to be able to make it a bit more like a desktop application? Okay, yeah. Do we need to worry about testing? Yeah, we know, we do. Because we are still the company here trying to solve or select a lot of technologies. And I will ensure that any part of the code we write in our company will also have accompanying unit tests. I will also ensure that these unit tests are run on an automatic procedure each time we do a commit onto GitHub versioning system. The automatic test will be run each time, and they will display green, yellow, red if they are working, so I can see the state of all our softwares daily, hourly. So we'll have all these. Yes, so we need to select a framework for testing. Yes, should we do it for mobile? Should we do it for desktop? Should we move from the web application area and move into more mobiles? Should we do a desktop application? Still using this type of technology? Yeah, we could do that. And what other libraries do we actually need to make this happen? So we have this sort of area of sort of categories we are supposed to look at. So I would like to take help of this one. And we reviewed that. Let's see if I can make it. I think this works, right? So I'll take some help of this investigation. We quickly reviewed it a few weeks ago. So let's do it now again. And now actually let's try and look. What is this telling us? What is the most important JavaScript technologies that we should use if we're sort of listening to this? Okay. So yeah, no, we won't have the t-shirt, but it's a nice t-shirt though. This is the JavaScript world. Yeah, we leave the t-shirt there. We don't mind about the demographics, about the people who responded. I think we skip that. But let's stay here. This is an overview of a lot of JavaScript technologies that we are supposed to select from. And you are the guys who are actually going to sort of select this for me, so let's be able to see what we have here. This particular graph we are looking at is the techniques up here is, what is it? They are sort of the, I've used them, I want to use them again. They are sort of popular techniques. The techniques back here Yeah, they're very popular. I use them, but I'm a bit concerned with it, so I'm not too happy with it. And below here, well, could say sort of new evolving techniques. Might have a look at it, or not so here. We have negative opinions in that part and positive in the other then. So we should actually be here, somewhere here. And not necessarily up here. It's a lot of usage and it's positive, but perhaps we could also try to take a few techniques that seems to be popular but not yet well used. So we could, but if we are going to get anything here that is on the negative side, we really should have sort of a strong opinion why it's unfair to put it on the negative side. I really would like to have it there. So, okay, let's see. It's a lot of stuff. Let's start there. So we have JavaScript flavors. This is how do I want to program JavaScript? So how do I write it? Well, it's JavaScript. But there are some both positive and a lot of usage, and it seems to be TypeScript. You like TypeScript. Yeah, you like TypeScript. Yeah. So that is a sort of, yeah, sounds nice. We should have a look at it. So it's on top of JavaScript. It transpiles down to core JavaScript, but it provides us with a bit stronger development environment, typing, error handling, statically typed. Yeah. So a bit.
It's like putting Java on top of JavaScript.
Java on top of JavaScript. So it will sort of force us to work in a more structured way. So perhaps that's what we would like to. Okay, so we make a quick mind note on TypeScript. And then I see this Elm is down there. I had a friend who had he really liked Elm. It's a functional oriented language, JavaScript. He was feeling really nice about it, but it's down there. But okay.
Don't you think that both ClojureScript and PureScript and Elm is down there just because not so many people like coding functional?
Yes, that could be why.
Because it takes
hard.
More.
It's hard to do functional. Yeah, could be most likely. So so our company here then, we need to do, should we go on to the functional area of programming? And then, we should look down there. Elm or not a functional language, but then we need to sort of, the most programmers out there would be trained in an object-oriented sort of background. So maybe that we should have in mind. Okay, so TypeScript looks interesting. Functional programming, yes, maybe. Don't mind. Let's move on to front end. Those are the frameworks here. They are categorizing as front end. And so what we have up there? Okay, so positive, highly used, React. So, I guess we'll find a lot of sort of ads about, I want a trained React developer. Yeah, there's the code base behind Facebook. I had one of my former students. He turned, when he started working a few years ago, he went to a sort of a large company. We had a large code base actually in PHP, so vanilla PHP, not framework PHP, vanilla PHP, dated back like 10 years ago. So it is a Swedish company, large Swedish company. And so he got in there. They had a website, they have desktop. They have websites and mobile applications. So he was the one sort of, what architecture should we move on with? And he was mainly sitting on the mobile application they have, and he selected React Native, that is, but they still moved on to a React track of code. So React, yeah, I guess we have to look at that. And why is Angular so back there to the left? I don't know. They have a sort of bumpy history Angular. They have Angular 1. A lot of people sort of invested time, energy into Angular 1. And then they got Angular 2. And from what I hear, it looked a bit different. So you sort of need to reinvest energy. And then you have all sort of our company products. We did them on Angular 1, and now they have another setup. It's Angular 2. How are we supposed to move our code base to Angular 2? Should we stick with Angular 1, which is perhaps dead end? So maybe that, maybe that Angular, I'm not sure, but like you said, that TypeScript is putting Java on top of JavaScript. Maybe Angular is a bit putting Java on top of Java on top of it all. A bit more structure, verbose type to write it. But it's still a lot of companies out there that goes with the Angular way. So what we have small ones, Ember. I have some friends always telling me, you must learn Ember, Michael. I would have a small eye on the Vue.js. Seems like a nice framework to actually work with. So I couldn't say where should we go here, but if we starting with a clean plate, yeah, let's have a look at those to the right side.
This is only talking about JavaScript, and there are
Yes.
other ways of, like if you're doing a mobile application, could go Flutter.
Yes. Flutter comes here, and it's included in the investigation a bit later. Yes. So this is front end for web application front end then. So there are some of them. There is a lot of framework they also dealt with that was not on this top list here. Okay, let's move on to backend. So backend, yeah, I would say for now, we stick with Express. So it's on top there. So it's good enough. It's the basis. Why should we use another one? Yeah, there are this. I think this next.js is sort of a bit upcoming, and it's sort of related to the sort of Facebook React environment. So maybe if we go to that area, maybe we should have a look on that too. Could be a good choice. Otherwise, Express seems to be well used. So yeah, maybe we could go with that. I think I leave that part there. I move on to data layers. So what is that? I would say it's a mix of, I would say it's different things also. It's server side, client side, but somehow we can do keeping data application state sort of, and have that data updated automatically. So my friend did a new post on Facebook, and somehow just through a WebSocket I got aware of it on my browser, and browser re-renders my page, and it's dynamic, it's happening. So maybe I want to have a data layer that makes this easier for me on the client side. I actually don't need it. I can do it with my own code, depending on the framework I used. But perhaps we should go with a data layer. What should we choose then? Well, Redux is up there. So let's have an eye on that. could slightly sort of use together with React, but could be used freely also. And I would say that this GraphQL is that we should actually have, we should review that, because it might be a very nice way of us to provide a REST API and make that queryable, to make the user asks query on these sort of REST API in a flexible way. So that's, yeah, and that is sort of moving strong upwards. So we should have a look on GraphQL for our REST APIs querying JSON data. Okay. Still, I think we're sort of sorting it out by having this. Testing framework. Okay, we need a lot of testing frameworks. What should we do? Let's make this an easy task. I say we go with Jest, Mocha or Jasmine. Any one of those three would do. I really don't mind. Is it Jest or Jasmine that is in the React environment Facebook? I need to look it up. So maybe when we are selecting a framework, maybe there are a test framework that actually sort of fits nicely into it. So then we should go with that. If we don't have that sort of constraint or sort of advantage, I would take Jasmine, Mocha or Jest. Yeah. Last I looked, I selected among those three. And here, there is no Flutter there yet, no, but there is a Flutter in this investigation also. So we need to do mobile and prepare ourselves to do desktop applications using a web application architecture with a web server, with a REST API. We're just moving the browser into a desktop world and into the mobile world, and without being completely native. So we're not talking mobile native languages. We are talking web mobile. So we're doing this in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the client side or on the mobile side. So what are they supposed to talk to us? Let's see. You know this Cordova down there? Cordova to the left. There's a bunch of negative opinions about it, obviously. But it's a way to actually write an HTML, CSS, JavaScript application, web application, and put it through Cordova that adds a layer on it and makes it a native application. So it's a way sort of compile it down to a native application, but it's still HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So yeah, maybe that. But then again, this React Native sort of evolves from the popular React area then. But it's React and it's for native, it's for mobile applications. I can code, if I know how to code React, I could do it with a React Native framework, adding it to the mobile. Maybe that is the way to go if we are selecting React for the other ones. Yeah. And then it's out there, Electron. Have you heard about it? Yeah. So the Atom editor that I'm using is built on top of Electron. So it provides us building desktop applications using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So we can build cross-platform with it. And if I'm not completely wrong, isn't VS Code also built on Electron? Atom is, yeah. I think VS Code is also. We could have a look at it, check it up. I think so. It's a platform for desktop applications, and we are all HTML, CSS, JavaScript coders here. So could be a good way to go. VS Code is based on Electron. Yeah, VS Code is based on Electron. So it's a nice platform to have a look at. Okay, there we go. Let's see. So it's still, if you have a look at this, I actually think with these few minutes we sort of tried to organize our views on what's out there and what could be important. So, yeah. Let's see what we can do the last minutes there. No, it's more or less the same. So let's move up. I think we skip the language features. I don't really care. We have selected this area. Let's see if there are some other flavors in how could we code JavaScript. So we said TypeScript was a strong competitor for our. Should we do Flow? CoffeeScript is not on the up. Okay, Babel was very popular. Well, it's a transpiler, transpile down to JavaScript. So there are more ways. jQuery, well, jQuery might be popular on some places. So it's a library. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I got it. Let's leave it. Dart. Yes. Okay, so let's see what front-end frameworks. Yes, we had a view on those. Do we have other frameworks that we sort of maybe oh yes, we have a lot of other frameworks. JavaScript is really a framework world. So Backbone, yes, I have another friend who's using Aurelia, and this is a very nice framework, he says. You know, my own choice of a framework is on this list also. Here is Angular 1. Down there is React Native. Yeah, this is the front-end framework. I'm having this. Use of Mithril. If you turn back to the forum that I had on the PHP framework. This is their choice of doing the front end and for the whole, dynamic front end. And just have a quick look at it. It's when you are sort of reviewing technologies and you sort of, there is a good way to also go down to these sort of small techniques that is currently not too popular. It's not even on the top page here. But when you start to read about them, you see, so this is why I sort of sticked with this one for selecting it, was it's a very small. It has some small basic parts doing this fetch, Ajax request. It provides with a sort of modularity view of doing JavaScript. It has a router so I can create SPA applications. So it's basically an Angular React, but it's small. And it's not a lot of added stuff. There is no syntactic sugar. It's pure JavaScript. So clean. And then, yeah, I liked how the developer of this sort of expressed himself in why it should look like this. So we can find sort of gold nuggets when we are sort of going in the backyards of here also then. So there could be a lot of things that could be useful down here. We have data layer. Yes, there were Redux. We really need to look into it, how it could interact with our code. I would recommend GraphQL if we want to do REST APIs. Let's see if we have anything more here. Vue, Ember, yes, okay. Yes, a lot of stuff. Just leave it. Backend frameworks. Let's see what is not on the top list. Other frameworks here. Do I really? No, I think I just leave that. Nothing comes to mind. Testing. Shy, yes, I looked into that. Karma, yes. Selenium, yeah, we might need to do that. It's for user interface testing. So we can add a test base that actually clicks on our web pages. Very nice to have. Selenium, yes, that we should have. Cucumber, yes, maybe we can leave this also. Mobile and desktop. There we go. Flutter. So maybe next year in this investigation, sort of Flutter might pop up as a way. So let's see what that is. You were talking about Flutter, and I just last week I had a friend working in sort of a mobile operator, and he sort of, yeah, you know what, I'm doing Flutter now. It's a nice way. Have a look at it. So it is it's from Google. It's UI toolkit, so user interface, both mobile web and desktop. Okay. Yeah. So it's a lot of talk about it. And I think we can end up here with this one. So besides all this selecting a framework, we also might want to decide on having a few libraries in. And we could have, let's just, Lodash and Moment. So Lodash is a utility library. Since JavaScript doesn't contain too much utilities, they added a library that makes it easier to use. And Moment, I think it was only for manipulating dates and times. So, that was PHP framework, JavaScript framework. Have lunch and think about it, and we'll meet afterwards and we talk about the Windows world. Yeah.